Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Monday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk all things Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes: the Steelers confirm that the Browns is still the Browns. Is George Pickens' hamstring injury serious or not? This Pittsburgh Pirates legend is finally in, and more. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. The Steelers confirm that the Browns is still the Browns. Happy Victory Monday, Steelers Nation, as yesterday afternoon, your Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Cleveland Browns 27-14. This felt like another game in which the Steelers did not play their best, but the more I thought about it, they played some complimentary football, and both sides made plays when needed. The game started off with 5 of the first 7 drives ending in punts. The Steelers' offense looked especially poor, as they could barely muster 3 points to the Browns' 7. However, after a couple of punts to start the second quarter, the Steelers literally got a big interception that jump-started the offense. After the defense made that turnover, the offense scored a touchdown and a field goal, while Cleveland punted again and missed a field goal to end the half. After halftime, the Steelers went into cruise control. The black and gold only had 2 offensive drives in the third quarter, both of which ended in touchdowns, while the Browns missed another field goal, turned the ball over on downs, and punted. Now, Cleveland did put up a little bit of a fight. In the fourth quarter, they scored a touchdown and got a fumble recovery right after. Unfortunately for them, that momentum only lasted 2 plays before the Steelers intercepted the ball again. Add on a muffed punt by the Browns for insult to injury, and the Steelers walked away as victors. This divisional win for the Steelers means a lot. On a matchup basis, the Steelers officially eliminated the Browns from playoff contention and ended the past 2 weeks of Super Bowl-like celebrating for Cleveland fans. On a personal level, the Steelers moved to 10-3 on the season, 3-1 in the division, are still in a firm lead in the AFC North, and keep their hopes alive of getting the number 1 seed in the conference. With that, here are my 3 MVPs that I thought were most critical in this Steelers win. There were a couple of good candidates this week, but number 1 on my list has to be defensive end Cam Hayward. Captain Cam made it back-to-back weeks of great performances, recording 5 total tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback hits. As the season rolls on, Cam is earning every penny of that extension he got this past offseason, and is one of, if not the best interior defensive lineman in football right now. The second Steelers MVP of the game is safety Deshaun Elliott. Elliott had a team-leading 13 tackles, 9 solo, and 1 pass defense at the end of the first half, forcing the Browns to kick a field goal that they missed. To me, Elliott was everywhere, and has arguably been the Steelers' best offseason pickup. And the third and final MVP for the Steelers is the entire receiving corps. Wide receiver George Pickens was a surprise inactive yesterday, more on that in a bit, and the receivers had to step up on short notice. Tight end Pat Freiermuth and wide receiver Van Jefferson each caught touchdown passes, and wide receivers Mike Williams and Scotty Miller each had 3 receptions for over 30 yards. It was an all-hands-on-deck situation, and the group did enough to get the win. Some honorable mentions for MVPs this week include defensive tackle Keanu Benton, who made the game-changing INT in the second quarter to kickstart the Steelers' offense, and left tackle Dan Moore Jr., who held Myles Garrett at bay for most of the game, only allowing 1 sack in garbage time. Now that the Steelers have the last 4 straight games of divisional opponents behind them, they will now prepare for the toughest 3-game slate that any team will face this season. This gauntlet, which is 3 games in 10 days, begins with a trip to the west side of the state for a matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles in the Battle of Pennsylvania next Sunday. Is George Pickens' hamstring injury serious or not? In the Steelers' final injury report this past Friday before playing the Browns, wide receiver George Pickens was a late addition to the list with a hamstring injury. Many fans and pundits alike thought this wasn't going to be anything serious for Pickens come Sunday, including Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, who told CBS sideline reporter Tracy Wolfson before the game yesterday that he was hoping the injury would be a non-issue. However, Pickens did not take part in team warm-ups, and with the number of snaps he would have been limited to, Tomlin decided to make him inactive. Post-game, Coach T further explained his decision to hold Pickens out, saying, "GP was listed as questionable. We didn't feel like he was going to be able to play the number of snaps that we thought would be worth putting him in a uniform, to be quite honest with you. We didn't want a small problem to become a big problem. And so, we put a helmet on Scotty Miller." Pickens not playing yesterday has a lot of people wondering if it was truly just the injury that kept him off the field. Some fans are speculating that this was Tomlin benching Pickens. with GP having an ongoing feud with Browns corner Greg Newsome, committing 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties last weekend against the Bengals, and calling out the Browns in the media again on Friday. Some think this was Tomlin punishing Pickens. Another idea as to why Pickens didn't play was for load management purposes. The Steelers are about to play 3 of the NFL's best teams in the span of 10 days. Maybe they thought, why have Pickens play the 3-9 Browns at 60 or 70% when you can maybe have him near 90 or 100% against the 11-2 Eagles next weekend? Or, both of these series can be complete fodder and the injury was just worse than expected. What do you guys think? Are you worried about Pickens' injury, and do you believe in any of the fan speculations? Let me know in the comments below. Acrisure Stadium is officially home of the Steelers again. Last weekend, the 2024 college football regular season wrapped up, and with that, a fan favorite change was made at Acrisure Stadium. As you may or may not know, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pitt Panthers both share Acrisure Stadium as their home venues during their overlapping seasons. Now that Pitt's regular season is over, the Steelers have the field all to themselves for the rest of their season. With that, the fan favorite gold end zones have made their return. Because the two share the same stadium, and due to regulations preventing NFL logos being used on college fields, the end zones for the entire year up to this point have been green. Well, now that college ball is wrapped up in Pittsburgh, Acrisure Stadium officially looks like the home of the Steelers once again. The Penguins continue their hot streak after defeating the Leafs on Saturday night. This past weekend, the Pittsburgh Penguins split their series of games, losing to the New York Rangers on Friday night 4-2, but rebounding and defeating the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2 on Saturday. Friday night's game against the Rangers was one of the worst games that the Pens played all season, according to head coach Mike Sullivan. Following that statement, the team responded by taking down the high-pedigree Leafs and without red-hot forward Philip Tomasino, who missed that game with an upper body injury. Facing these two teams on back-to-back nights was a tough draw, and the Pens were bound to drop at least one of them, but winning 4 of their last 5 is still encouraging. Now, they are a team on the rise and still sit just 1 point out of a playoff spot. The Pens are back in action tomorrow night when they host Sidney Crosby's good friend Nathan MacKinnon and the Colorado Avalanche. Sidney Crosby reaches another milestone on Friday night. Even though the Pens fell to the New York Rangers this past Friday night 4-2, the night was still worth celebrating. In the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, Penguins captain Sidney Crosby played in his 1300th career NHL game. This is another amazing accomplishment by Sid, as he is only the 72nd player in NHL history and the second player from the 2005 NHL draft to reach 1300 games. This is also the 3rd major milestone that Crosby has reached this season, recently recording his 600th career goal and his 1600th career point. As 87 continues to play on, us Penguins fans are reminded of just how lucky we are to have one of the game's all-time greats for this long period of time. Congratulations, Sidney Crosby, on playing your 1300th career game. And finally, this Pittsburgh Pirates legend is finally in. It finally happened. The news that this Pittsburgh Pirates legend and Bucs fans have been waiting for finally came last night. On Sunday night at the MLB's winter meetings in Dallas, it was announced that the Classic Baseball Era Committee elected 2 new members into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Out of the 8 Classic Baseball Era nominees, Dick Allen and legendary Pirates outfielder Dave Parker will now be heading to Cooperstown. This has been a long time coming for the man they call the Cobra, as the 1978 NL MVP, 7-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glover, 3-time Silver Slugger, 2-time batting champion, and 2-time World Series champion can now add Hall of Famer to his long resume. Parker spent the first 11 seasons of his 19-year career with the Bucs, in which he won MVP, made 4 of his 7 All-Star appearances, won all 3 of his Gold Gloves, won both batting titles, and won 1 of his 2 World Series rings. The Pirates Hall of Famer, now National Baseball Hall of Famer, spoke on what the Pirates and getting into the Hall means to him. The Pirates mean a lot to me. They were a great brotherhood, and they were always family. I mean, I could leave, come back, everything is the same. It was a long time waiting, so I was excited. Wish I could have played in today's market. With the salaries they're giving away, I think that would be ideal. I'm looking forward to being there. I've been holding in this speech for 15 years. Parker and the class of 2025 will officially be inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame at the induction ceremony in Cooperstown on July 27th. Congratulations on being inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame, Dave Parker. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Monday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow with some more Pittsburgh sports news.